should one buy a property in their personal name versus, say, in a different structure like a trust?
Yeah. So the first thing we always chat about with clients is just trying to get an idea of what their plan is long term. A lot of people sort of come in and they don't really have a plan of what they want to do, or they haven't really looked at what the next few years are going to look like. So usually that comes into play quite a lot, depending if they want to build a portfolio out, what sort of properties are going into that portfolio, how many they're kind of looking at actually putting in there as well, or if they sort of just want to buy one property and that's it. Even coming down to things like, I had a meeting with a client this morning actually just discussing this exact thing. What's happening over the next few years with your relationship? Where's that at? What are the next steps there? You're looking at kids. Is work going to be changing? Some people like to sort of just, especially now with the side hustle culture, a lot of people like to sort of just start businesses here and there, not actually thinking about the potential implications this might have on them with finance. So it always comes down to just like asking as many questions as you can up front, just finding out exactly what's going on, and then really getting an idea of what they're trying to achieve. And then sometimes that guides you with what structure would be best. You also get people who just come in, there maybe a few of them investing together, got a bit of money there and a bit of a backing, and just want to have things done in certain ways. But for most people, it just comes down to, a bit of planning as to what they're trying to achieve, and that kind of guides that structure talk.
Yeah, so the idea in mind of having a strat, like knowing what your property portfolio is going to look like in 5 or 10 years, or what your goal is, then that's going to allow you to know like what your property portfolio is going to look like, and then how to structure from day dot, right? So for somebody, just as an example, somebody has 90K wage, they're going to buy their first property, it's around 500K, and they have a goal of getting to 100K passive income in property, and they want to do it through a couple of residentials, maybe 3 to 4 residentials, and maybe a commercial or two down the line. Like, where would they start? Would they just, because I know what I did for myself is like, I just went up and was like, I just want to buy as many properties as I can, and I don't want them against my personal name. So I just did my first acquisition in a trust, which I probably wouldn't suggest. And then I bought my second one in a personal name. So what's the regular route, and why would that? Yeah.
And this is the thing that's always annoying, especially with these questions, is it always depends. And that always seems to be the answer to begin with. It's like, well, it depends. The thing here is it always depends on how much money and things you need at the start as well. So if you were going to buy your first investment property, and it was going to be, really negatively geared, you put that into a trust, and essentially you're not getting the benefits of that negative gearing. If you need to use that money at the start to help grow and help build things and get a bigger refund, and maybe that's part of your overall tax strategy or something you've sat down and worked out, then putting it in a trust is obviously going to stop that straight away. And then there's the other side of the coin is when you're looking at properties like commercial properties, they're usually very cash flow positive. So that's something that maybe you want to put into a trust so you can get the tax benefits of distributing that with a bit of flexibility, or the income that generates.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
a few different scenarios there, but always just depends on that person's situation. Maybe they've got a lot of money up front that they're happy to kick towards it, or maybe just based off the rent or whatever they're doing with it. If it's a short-term rental, maybe they've got more income coming out of it, and it is positive straight away, and they can prove that pretty easily. Then maybe putting it in a trust is good. If they've got a partner who maybe is on maternity leave or not earning as much, and you can sort of take some of those advantages there as well.